Hi everyone, Amanda Jane here, and in today's video we're going to start off at the very beginning with learning how to crochet. And in this short video I'm going to show you what you'll need to crochet, a couple of different weights of yarn, or wool as we call it also, even if it's not made of wool. We'll have a look at the band, which is useful on a ball of yarn. And then I'm going to show you how to create a slip knot and a chain. And that's a good starting point if you've never crocheted before and this will be your first lesson. Don't do any more than this because you can hop back to the next lesson and learn a stitch which is called a single crochet. So let's get started. Let's first of all have a look at what you'll need. You'll need a pair of scissors right at the end. I use nail scissors because they're slightly curved, and that means that I'm not going to inadvertently cut my work. You will need a little needle, tapestry needle. This one's got not a very big hole. It's a short needle and it's blunt. Sometimes we use sharp needles, but we'll come on to that when we have specific projects. So we need to darn in our ends at the end of the project. Now I've got a range of hooks here and they all have complicated sizes on them. I wouldn't recommend that you stick to millimeters. Even if you're in a country that doesn't use millimeters, that you use inches, just get used to the millimeters. This one is a plastic hook. Now I'm not so keen on working with these because they're quite sticky. If you get warm fingers. This is an 8mm and would be used to crochet very thick yarn. So the size of the needle relates to the chunkiness or fineness of your yarn. This one has an ergonomic hook and this one has got tiny little writing here and tells you this is a 6mm hook and very often used for a medium plus weight yarn. 5mm I use a lot. I use that for Aran or worsted weight yarn, and this is my preferred style of hook with an with a metal hook at the end and a softish rubbery handle. This one is just a straightforward 5mm, so that's the same as that one, but you can see the hooks are slightly different shape. And then I've got a wooden one which has been coated, which has a very sharp hook on it, and that's a 4mm hook, which is used for double knitting weight yarn. So today I'm going to show you how to find which hook to use for which yarn. Now, if you're unfamiliar, or if you haven't done knitting or crochet before, you will know when you buy yarn, and I would advise you to buy a thicker yarn to start with because it's easier to handle. You'll notice they all come, the majority of them, come with this band around them. And if you turn this over, it will give you lots of information. It will give you the number of yards and meters. We'll give you the weight of it, and we'll also see that in the US people use this number on a ball which tells you the size of the thickness of the yarn. We've got lots of other things here, things like tension for knitting, and then this symbol here for crochet, and this for this yarn is recommending a 6mm crochet hook. So that's quite useful. It gives you the washing instructions, drying it, where it's made, all sorts of information. Useful is to buy, if you're making a large project where the colour matters a lot, get the same lot number, and you know you've got to make sure that you've purchased it all at the same time, so because they do vary. They vary less than they used to. So also on this Lion brand, yarn, you can see they've given you the number that you're likely to need for a scarf, a hat or a jumper. Today, this would take a size 6. What we're going to do here is going to use this Aran weight yarn. Now, don't go to a great deal of expense when you're first learning. You want to just choose a colour that you really like. Aran or worsted weight yarn is fine, and a size 5mm crochet hook. I'm going to show you the way I hold the crochet hook. I'm not going to give you another alternative because you can see that in other videos. This is the most relaxing way to hold it, in my opinion. It's just like a knife, just like you're cutting your food up. You're not going to be twisting your wrist too much. If you are, then do a few stretches, exercises, and have a 10-minute break. So the first thing we need to do, once we've established our hook and our yarn, is we're going to create a slip knot. Again, lots of different ways of creating a slip knot, and the one I've found that's the easiest to explain on a video is this. This is for right-handed people. Take your left hand and stick your first 2 fingers out in front of you like this. Trap the tail, and we call this the tail, and this the working yarn. Trap it underneath your last 2 fingers here of your left hand, just so it doesn't run away with itself. And literally, you're going to wrap it round, that's the working yarn, round your first 2 fingers. Make a little loop, tuck it under, and pull that little loop through. Let's do that again. Good thing about crochet, when you've made a mistake or you want to start again, literally pull, you can start again. So trap the yarn under those fingers, stick these 2 fingers out, wrap it round, make a little loop with your working yarn in your right hand, tuck it underneath and pull that loop through. Simple as wink. Slip knot because it just basically slips. You put your crochet hook in, pull the working yarn, and there we have our slip knot on our hook, ready to go. Crochet is a series of interlocking chains. That describes it in one sentence. But there's so many different things that you can make with crochet and so many different designs. It's almost endless. You can make homeware, jumpers, scarves, toys are very popular, baby clothes are popular. There's so much that you can do. Now we've got to learn how to hold our crochet hook and our yarn together. So a few stretches here. You want to relax as well. So deep breath, pick up your crochet hook and get your index finger of your left hand if you're right-handed, and the other way around if you are left-handed. Now, funnily enough, I'm left-handed for writing, but I crochet right-handed. Who knew? Stick your index finger out and put it underneath the working yarn, and then trap the yarn between those last 2 fingers, just like you did with making a slip knot. Then, with your second and your thumb, you're going to place those underneath the knot. And that is a good position to practice a few times. So let's start again. Index finger, loop the working yarn over it, close loosely these 2 fingers over the working yarn to control the tension. Second finger and thumb just underneath the knot. Okay, let's get going. A chain. It's going to look exactly how you imagine. We're going to do a thing called a yarn over. Essentially that means putting the hook under. You could say hook under, but it's always called in patterns a yarn over. So we'll continue to say that. Yarn over. You don't have to tighten it up very much. You don't have to tighten your fingers. You could crochet like this. Keep relaxed. Yarn over, pull through. You're pulling your hook towards you, sort of southeast. Yarn over, pull your hook southeast so that the hook goes through the loop on the hook. Yarn over, pull southeast towards you. Yarn over, pull southeast. I'm not doing any twisting. There's none of this business. We don't need to do that. We're making the hook do the work, not our wrist. It moves slightly, but it doesn't need to move much. Because what we don't want to do is to give ourselves a strain. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through. All this finger is doing is creating this triangular gap. All these, the finger and the second finger and the thumb is doing is supporting your work. And these two fingers really are doing very little. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through. Now, I would advise you to sit relaxed, listening to something on the radio, watching a bit of telly, and just practice that. So that's the end of our first lesson. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, press subscribe and the bell. Maybe give me a thumbs up and come back and watch our second lesson where we're going to build on this and learn the single crochet stitch. Take care. Thank you.